Welcome back to the Sabrena and Ben Hour. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a great show. That was a fast segment with Marty, wasn't it, Mark? I mean, that time just flew by.
It did. It went very fast.
Well, he doesn't talk that much on the commission.
No.
You can tell he's been doing a lot of campaigning. Well, he's sincere about running, and I believe and hope he'll win in August. But anyway, for anyone thinking about buying a home or selling a home, we talk every week about how hot the real estate market is. There's never been a better time to sell, especially since the market crashed, because the market is back. We're seeing things trend towards a seller's market now. We're finding that when we put a home on the market, if you price it right, you have it ready to show. We advertise it. We put it out there on the websites. We promote it. They're selling like hotcakes, are they not, Mark?
Yeah, they're going very fast. But, and I guess it is turning into a seller's market.
Yeah.
But with interest rates still bouncing around between 3% and 4%, it's a great time to be a buyer, too.
Absolutely. And you're still getting good deals out there. I mean, because we never had an escalated market here. We never had that overinflated inflation on our prices. They were always within reason. And we did it when the market crashed. But what we're seeing now is those prices are coming back up in a fair range where they should be.
Exactly.
And sellers are more serious about selling. They're pricing them right. They're having them ready to show. They're listening to us when we go out there. And for a buyer, you better believe it. And, hey, if you're thinking about buying, you better act quick. You better get your financing lined up. And, of course, they need to call Ben with Home Rate Mortgage. I know that they would love – that's 805-9100. 805-9100. If you're looking to get a loan, call Ben. I know he and his team are standing by. And, of course, if you're thinking about selling or buying, why should they call Sabrena Realty, Mark?
Well, one of the biggest reasons is just the commitment to excellence that you and the other realtors have there. You've been in it, 12 years, give or take a little bit. Realtor of the Year a couple of years ago, voted on by all the realtors here in this area. So you take it very serious, and you really make friends out of all your
absolutely.
You get a lot of referrals.
Like
you treat them right, and they keep coming back, and a lot of referrals. And when I got into real estate, I didn't realize how much a realtor actually does, how much there is to it.
We earn our money.
You certainly earn it. And there's so many times that you work and do so much, and it never even pays off in a commission because it doesn't happen. But one thing I've noticed is the work really begins once you get a contract accepted. I mean, there is so much to getting it to the closing table, making sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. It's unbelievable. And that's why experience really matters.
And being able to maneuver around challenges. I mean, because every deal has its own challenges.
Yeah. And you've held a lot of things. I've heard the stories from Brent and Crystal and other people that have worked with you through the years that said, we knew this deal, it was dead. And 4 hours later, Sabrena's coming through saying, I saved it. We're going forward.
I'm good at resuscitation.
Yes, you are.
CPR. But all right, I am so glad that we have another special guest today.
We do.
We have Tucker McClendon. Tucker McClendon, such a young, handsome, energetic guy. Tucker helped me on my campaign. We had the privilege of meeting him then, and he is such a bright guy. I know he has an interest in politics. And I wanted to have Tucker in today because we have two big events coming up next week. And what these events are, there's going to be one next Tuesday. I hope everybody listening, please put this on your calendar. This is very important.
Make a note of it.
Next Tuesday, April the 19th at 6 p.m., we're going to have a huge community meeting at Woodland Park Baptist Church. We're going to have a second meeting over on this side of town. It will be on Thursday, the 21st at 6 p.m. at Miles Strait Baptist Church. Commissioner Randy Fairbanks is helping coordinate that one. But what both meetings will be about is the Chattanooga 2.0 initiative and movement. Anyone that has read the news or been listening or watches the nightly news, you've heard about the Chattanooga 2.0. And what that is, it's a study, and they've looked at education. They've looked at pre-K. They've looked at third and fourth grade, high school, and it pretty much tells the state of public education here in Hamilton County. And I don't want to get into all the details because that's what the two meetings are about. We're going to have Dr. Jared Bigham, who's been instrumental in putting this study together. He will be at both meetings. That's next Tuesday and next Thursday. He will be there, and he'll be talking about the findings of this report, which I think will be a true eye-opener to the community.
Yes, it will.
But what we've done is for both meetings, we've put together a panel, and the panel is comprised of just everyday people. There will be educators, students, PTA parents, parents in general, business leaders, faith-based leaders, pastors. We wanted a good, diverse group to make up the panel. And the panel will be discussing public education.
Yeah, not necessarily a complaint session, but more
Absolutely
of
not.
How can we move forward?
We don't want it to be a complaint at all. We want it to be a productive meeting. First of all, we want it to be informative. As Dr. Bigham talks about the Chattanooga 2.0 findings, we want that to be an informative session. And then we're going to bring the panel in, and we're going to let the community at large, the taxpayers who fund education, come up and ask questions, talk about concerns, anyone there. And I think right now, everyone has a vested interest in public education. It doesn't matter. For the baby boomers, your kids have already been through school, whatever, you own property, you pay property taxes, you have a vested interest, whether or not you know it, in public education. And trust me, we want to have the best schools because those schools have a direct impact on your property value, whether it's a positive impact or a negative impact. So it's very important. And I think that we owe it to our kids. When I go to the polls and vote or anything I do, my decisions, for the most part, I've lived probably half of my life. So I'm looking at my kids that are in their early 20s. Every time I go, I'm thinking, how will this affect them? And even beyond that, I'll probably be a grandparent one day. So I'm thinking about my grandkids. So I'm looking into the future. And Tucker, I know you're going to serve on this panel for me.
Yes.
You are a young man that has been through public education. You actually went to Ooltewah High School.
Graduated in 2003.
You're a recent graduate, and you now currently are at UTC.
Yes.
Correct? Well, kind of tell for anybody listening, because you are a recent graduate, especially Ooltewah. We hear so much about Ooltewah, and actually, Mark and I graduated from Ooltewah. So go Owls,
Go
right?
Owls.
I won't tell you what class I am. I'm 29 and holding. We'll just put it that way. Holding on for dear life. But tell us kind of like what it was like at Ooltewah, because we hear so much about Ooltewah. What was it like for you? And just be very honest.
Yeah. Well, about the negativity around Ooltewah, especially since, late December. My time at Ooltewah was, the best 4 years of, my life. It was a great atmosphere, great learning atmosphere. It did have its problems. No one talked about it. That's why I've kind of been vocal.
Yeah.
And how this has been handled, not only with the school board, but at the administration level at Ooltewah. I mean, Jim Jarvis, the now principal, he was the AD and the assistant principal when I was there.
Right.
And it was common knowledge that if an athlete got in trouble at Ooltewah, they went straight to him and no one else. And you really didn't hear anything about after that. My principal was Mr. Bean. The next year, he left. The entire administration, except for one, was made up of coaches. Wrong with that, but there still has to be accountability, and that we have to see that they're doing the right thing for all the students and not just athletes.
Right. Well, you're a very smart, bright guy. So I would think that the curriculum was quite challenging because I've talked to you numerous times.
Yeah.
You worked with me on my campaign. You're a very smart, bright guy. So did you graduate in the top of your class?
Yeah, I did honors classes. I did AP. I think Ooltewah is the only school besides Signal Mountain that has an IB program, which is huge. Anyone in Ooltewah, tied into property values, that it's huge. There's only a select few schools in the state that are that.
That's great.
It carries across the world, not just here. You can go to universities in Europe, and that credit carries over. So, I mean, they have a brand new home ec class. They have the STEM Academy.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Global Studies Academy. So it's a diverse school, very much so.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. I know times have changed a lot probably since we graduated, but did you back when you were a student, did you get a sense that there was a lot of bullying going on, or is that something that you didn't really talk about? Or
I wouldn't say there's a sense of bullying going on. Not that I knew around my friends, and I like to talk, so I would just talk to anyone and everyone. Not that I saw there wasn't a violence problem at all. We had a few problems when the county started the sister school programs and integrating new students into Ooltewah. Had a few issues there, but nothing as far as major bullying. I mean, nothing that not every other high school is going to have in America.
Good. And as far as when you graduated, and I don't want to ask you anything too personal, but I mean, as far as your ACT score, obviously you had to take the ACT. Did you feel prepared to take that test when you graduated? Did you take it more than once?
Yeah, I did take it more than once. And part of that is just because I'm a horrible test taker.
Yeah.
That's another thing with public education is, I stayed here at UTC to go to school.
Right.
You can talk to almost probably any Hamilton County graduate. Students aren't prepared.
So you didn't feel prepared?
No, I didn't feel prepared. To hear
you be candid about it.
It's not so much I wasn't prepared. It's just a really sharp learning curve. And I don't know if public schools can do that. Just because there's so many needs, and students go to different walks of life, to community college, 4-year degrees, to I can't think of the word, to specializing in welding and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Vocational.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. And I don't know if they can do that, but I felt I could be a little more prepared.
Yeah.
In how I was brought up at Ooltewah, and I mean, even I think Ooltewah is in the top 2 or 3 of high schools in the county in ACT scores.
I think the top third.
I mean, if I would have went to another school that had a lower, I guess you could say score on the average on the ACT, totally different situation and experience that they experienced when they got to you.
From what I recall, Signal Mountain was number 1, and I think they had 43% of students that scored high enough on the ACT to indicate they were ready for college. East Hamilton was 21%, and Ooltewah was 19%. And we had a couple of high schools that scored 0%.
Yeah,
and that's what this meeting's going to be about next week. Both meetings, and again, we'll promote those again at the end of the show. But I really want to encourage the public to come and to get engaged and to hear, because I think we're at a very critical turning point in public education, and I think it's an opportunity. And I say that in a positive way. I feel that with a new superintendent coming on board, and just the way that the public in general is paying attention to public education, we need to capitalize on that. And I think for the most part, a lot of people want to get involved. They want to do something. They just don't know what to do. Yeah. They just need some guidance. So I'm hoping that out of these meetings, we can really come together as a community. And I'm a hopeful person. Yeah. I keep a positive attitude, and I believe that we can make tomorrow better. And if I didn't look at things that way, there would be no reason for me to be on the county commission now. And I know, Tucker, you and I have spoken, and you hope to one day, you have future plans of maybe even running for the school board or doing something like that, because you see a change and you feel that in your heart. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I'm politically involved, and I guess public education does hold a special place in my heart just because I grew up in it.
Right.
My 12 years of public education were done right here in Hamilton County, from going to Spring Creek to East Brainerd Elementary to Ooltewah Middle to Ooltewah High School.
Right.
and it can be better.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement. My big thing is the students don't get enough say, or they're not listened to, because they're like, well, they're students. There's not enough that. But if you listen, especially to your high school seniors that are about to graduate, they're going to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah. We need to listen to them. You're right.
Just because they don't pay taxes, you know, a lot of them can't vote. We shouldn't ignore them.
They're our next generation.
They are our next generation.
That's why they are so important. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that next generation. That's what we've got to be thinking about. And we're at a critical time. You're currently UTC. Yeah. What are you majoring in?
Political science.
And just curious, when you were in high school, did you know that was where your passion? Know that's what you wanted to do? Or did you just think, oh, well, now I'm graduating, I've got to go to college, so I better think of what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Oh, no. I've pretty much been set on political science majors since I was, you know, 4th grade. I mean, it's in my blood, I would say.
Well, that's good to hear, because, you know, I know and I can look back like yesterday on this, when I graduated high school and my parents were like, okay, so what do you want to do now? You got to go to college. You got to make a decision. What are you going to do? That was the hardest thing for me, was thinking, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And I did go to college, and I got a degree in the medical industry, which I'm not even working in now. So, but I do believe in being a lifelong learner too. But that was such a hard decision.
I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
We're trying to get him trained though. But you know, to me, that's such a hard decision, unless it's like you said, it's something you knew it for years. And not everybody's going to be cut out to go to college. And that's where in Hamilton County, we've got to do a better job of getting those opportunities for vocational training.
We do.
Because we need auto mechanics, we need plumbers, we need electricians, we need computer specialists, we need all these things. And so not everyone's going to be prepared to go to college. So we've got to fill the gap and be able to get those people properly trained so that we can meet the workforce demand.
And those vocational trades, some of them you can make some serious money. I mean, it's a much needed demand out there. So we've got to have that. What
was the line Rubio used? A welder makes more than a philosopher or something like that. And it's true. You know, I think another reason Chattanooga is in this beautiful spot to do something. We have the tech industry here. We have Volkswagen here. I mean, it's just, we got to use our resources and say, hey, y'all are going to invest in this community. That doesn't mean 5 years, 10 years from now. This means 20, 25. So you have the workers that have the skills to make your product, to, you know, write code, to make Passats or whatever.
And we have the technology. I mean, with EPB, the smart grid and everything, we have the technology. And I feel that we are a startup friendly community.
Very much so.
So especially for the young millennials and stuff, people coming out, I think it's a great place to start a business or anything. Well, you're going to UTC, and I know there's been an incident that's recently happened out there that involves politics. And for anybody listening, because I've read some about it, but I don't know all the ins and outs, kind of tell us what's been going on at UTC and how you've been involved, because I know you've been instrumental in this situation.
Yeah. So last week, or rewind to 2 weeks ago, we had our Student Government Association elections. We had a coalition, which is just like a political party on campus, that ran on unity, diversity, and all that. They're called Empower UTC. Last week, we had one of their senators that ran. She did get elected. She went on campus doing Trump chalkings, you know, put Trump 2016 with the hat, Make America Great Again, picture of a wall. And the president-elect and the vice president-elect asked her to resign for doing so.
Just for showing she was a Trump supporter?
Yeah. When she tweeted out that it was going to upset half the university, anything's going to upset half the people.
Exactly.
So I didn't take real big issue with that, but they did ask her to resign just for doing the Trump chalkings. I took kind of offense to that as being a conservative on campus, because we are a minority on campus.
Right.
So I was like, this isn't going to happen on my campus. I've seen it happen at Emory, DePaul, KU. I mean, campus after campus. And I was like, enough is enough. Someone has to say, if you're people shouldn't face repercussions for their freedom of speech.
That's true.
And I basically said that. So I launched a petition with my friend Katie Marie, who me and her are on opposite sides of the political spectrum. I mean, she is as liberal as you can get. I'm, rock hard conservative. But we said this isn't a political issue. This is for our
fairness.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fairness, First Amendment,
equality.
Equality. Also, when they asked her to resign, the next day, the president-elect and vice president-elect put out two statements almost at the same time that contradicted each other. So combined with the restricting of First Amendment rights, the poor leadership, the poor communication, and also the violation of the SGA code of conduct that I found, and I outlined what they did to violate that. We started the petition. We launched it late Friday night. We ended up getting 700 signatures in roughly 36 hours. And yesterday, about 1 o'clock, the president-elect did resign.
Okay. And so this was the troublemaker in the situation. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say troublemaker. He was the one that escalated it, that said, just because you did the Trump chalking.
Is it just because she's a Trump supporter?
Yeah. And I talked to him on Friday, and they knew before when they asked her to join their coalition that she was a Trump supporter, but it was just, they caved to demand that action had to be taken just because she was vocal in her support for Trump.
Well, have you been getting any repercussions yourself for taking a stand to her defense? Because I do think, and I want to commend you on your boldness, Tucker. We need more young people that are willing to stand up for what they believe in, because every view should have an opportunity to be heard. And so I really want to commend you on your bold stance. Have you had any repercussions from any of the other students or anything?
Well, I sent out an email to the entire student body through our student organization OrgSync page, is what the university uses, and let me send a message to everyone. I got hateful stuff back from people. I mean, just vulgar stuff. I didn't really care. I just responded in kindness and said, hey, this is why I'm doing it. You don't agree with it, but let's be civil. And then the university didn't really take kind that I sent an email out to the entire student body. But
well, you are our future, and I'm proud of you.
I'm
proud of you. I'm proud of you for standing up, for having the boldness, even when you're in the minority. And that is to be commended and respected. So thank you, Tucker. And I just appreciate you and all that you're doing and being involved, even at a young age, and in your community. It means the world. And I'm glad you're on my team.
Thank you.
And so, again, the meetings will be next Tuesday. Come out and hear about this Chattanooga 2.0 initiative. It will be at Woodland Park next Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's April the 19th. There will be a second meeting next Thursday. That will be April the 21st at 6 p.m. at Miles Strait Baptist Church. Commissioner Fairbanks heading that up. Go to the Chattanooga 2.0 website if you want any additional information. And, of course, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sabrena Realty Associates. We don't have any administrative fees. We have competitive commission rates. We use the latest technology to promote your listing. Give us a call, Sabrena Realty, at 423-499-7780. That's 499-7780. Or visit our website at SabrenaRealty.com. And please join us next Tuesday here again, 11 a.m., 12:40 a.m., Hot News Talk Radio.